That was a great start to the day. Thank you, Josh. So, all right, this is the official start of the program now at 10 o'clock. So we welcome all of you, for those who have just made it in. This is our 6th annual Bay Area NET Patient Education Conference. It's truly one of my favorite events of the year. I love this. I love seeing familiar faces and meeting new folks. I'd really encourage you, one of the, I think, the special parts of today is that you will not feel alone. I'd really encourage you to introduce yourselves to table members and others. And I would also like to thank our co-hosts, so NETRF, UCSF, and NorCal CarcINet. This is really a group effort, and we couldn't have done it without the support of all of the hosts. And I'd also like to mention, and Ron may speak to this as well, but it is World Cancer Day. So it is sort of very apropos that we are hosting this event today, and we want to think about sort of the direction, the positive direction that cancer research is going, and really think about all the cancer survivors. A couple of just nuts and bolts. If you are looking for a bathroom, it is out the door to the right. Please feel free to get up and be in and out of the room and get coffee as needed throughout the day. Be sure, I think Ron mentioned this already, but write down your questions on any of the cards. We will have formal Q&A sessions both right at the end of the morning and at the end of the afternoon sessions with those speakers who participated in that section of the day. And I may turn it over to Ron.
Thank you, Pam. And officially, without the Super Bowl hat, welcome. I know we're all talking kind of fast, so we're going to slow it down a little bit now and really get into some of the things you're here to learn about. This is a very special community. You have some very special collaborators up on your screen, from Stanford to our collaborators at UCSF and NorCal CarcINet. I've spent some time this morning speaking with many of you, including many of you who've been on the journey for a long time, but also that 10 or 15 or 20% that's just been diagnosed in the last year or so. And just to get a sense of our crowd here, we heard about people newly diagnosed. If you wouldn't mind, would you stand if you've had symptoms that led to this diagnosis for 5 years or more? Could we see how many of you have been on this journey for 5 years or more? Okay, quite a few. So just remain standing if you've been on the journey for 10 years or more. Let's have the others sit down. Okay, about half the group. Okay, well, maybe the symptoms, right? How about 15 years or more? Oh, we still have 4, 5, 6 people. I know there's somebody 19 years or more. How about 19 years or more? Okay, that's okay. 2, 3, 4. So let's just have a round of applause for all of these people. So you are all the inspiration for, especially for some of the people who are here for the first time. It is a journey. And it is a long journey, as many of you just testified to by standing with us. And by the way, as Josh said, we're joined today not only by the 75 or 100 or whatever it's up to now, people who are live streaming, people all over the world. I happen to also be the president of the International Neuroendocrine Cancer Alliance, INCA, it's easier to say. And I have colleagues who are joining us, I think it's about 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow in New Zealand. I think it's about 6 at night in Ireland and about 9 or 10 in Bulgaria, and all countries in between who are also with us here today. So you are on the same journey. We've looked at the different country experiences. We've surveyed patients all over the world, and the experiences are much the same as our founder. I am the executive director of the NET Research Foundation. Our founder was a patient. Like many of you, including some of you I've just met here today for the first time, symptoms for years, and told it's just stress or some other things having to do with her gastric symptoms, until she collapsed on the subway and was brought to a world-famous hospital in Boston and told that she had liver cancer and not carcinoid. and there were metastases of her carcinoid tumor. How common is that experience in this room and around the world still today, not just in small community hospitals, but even in reasonably major urban centers? So it is a journey. What we are here today to do is to help you and support you on that journey. You are not alone, as Pam said. And what we're going to try to do today is empower you with really good information. There's so much new and exciting that's going on, but there's also a lot of confusion on your journey, especially when you talk to your initial medical team who doesn't really know what you have or how to treat it. And thank God you're in a room like this to get some good information and have access to the kinds of clinicians that you'll see here today. We also want to empower you with those kinds of connections and relationships. You're sitting at round tables. The experiences of the person to your left and the right can really both inform and support you in ways that you can only imagine by opening yourself up to those conversations. And we are all here for you. All the organizations, all the speakers here today, and the organizations and websites that we represent, we're here for you as well. So by the end of today, hopefully you'll go out of here not only with an understanding of you're not alone and the family of people who are on the journey with you, but empowered with that kind of information and with some real connections about how to get the information to make that journey successful and as positive as you and your family and your loved ones can make it. So I just want to talk for a minute about what we have lined up today. We're doing things a little bit differently. So many of the experiences that you come with questions about have to do with symptoms. So we're going to spend a lot of time this morning on symptom management. Again, please, if you have questions, note them on the cards. We'll be going around between speakers to pick up those cards. I'll be collecting them for Pam and some of the other speakers so that we have a really good Q&A session at the end of the morning. But the first talk is actually going to be about something that Pam will introduce, which we have more and more and more questions about almost daily from patients who've been diagnosed with lung and thymic tumors, and I'm sure some people in this room. We're going to take a break after the Q&A for lunch, and we're going to have lunch in this room, so you can get your lunch first and then visit our survivorship fair, or visit the fair and then have your lunch. You'll be able to go back and forth between the two. And then in the afternoon, some really exciting things that are happening now in terms of nuclear medicine, and many of you have questions about PRRT and scans and what they mean and what's new, but also about what's going on in research that we are so excited about, that we hope and believe is really going to make those advances that Pam showed on her last slide happen even more quickly as we go forward. A brief afternoon break, and then we're going to bring all the clinicians and speakers you've heard, but also make sure there's the surgical input and other specialties all together so we can not only talk about how they deal with cases as a multidisciplinary team, but also get to the other questions that you have. So please, as you have a question, note it down, we'll collect them, and we'll go from there. So we talked about silencing the phones. If you haven't picked up your pearl necklace, whoever lost one, we have it. So bracelet, I'm sorry. And I forgot to mention that. And I think that's pretty much it. Pam, why don't we introduce the next speaker? And thank you all for being with us.